Okay. Welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do some basic image editing using Stable Diffusion. And I'll talk a little bit about what I'm doing, and hopefully you can learn something. So here's an image. This is from the Photoshop Battles subreddit. On that subreddit, people just post images that they want others to edit. And I thought this looked cool. I thought it's a prime example of, it's a cool image, but there's things you don't like about it that you would like to change. Like, for example, I think these little arm floaties look stupid, so I'm going to try to remove them. That's what I'll be doing with this video. I'll be showing you how I'm going to do that. So these are the only two tools I'm going to be using: Stable Diffusion and Paint.net. So I'm first going to take this, make a rough selection. Now I'm going to put it into a window that's 576 by 576. And I'm going to do one arm at a time. So this arm, and then I'll do this arm next. But for now, we'll just put this here. I'll call this input 1. So what I'm going to be doing is just basic image editing. Nothing crazy here. I'm not going to be doing any layers, any tools or anything. So I've selected the background color, and I'm just going to paint seems to go like that. I'm going to select this darker color. So this program here, Paint.net, it's a pretty simple program. It's like one step above Paint.net or MS Paint. So I rank image editors from Photoshop to, or from MS Paint to Photoshop in terms of like their capacity, and this is comfortably in between both of them. Much simpler than Photoshop, but also pretty powerful. So I've colored in the backgrounds to a degree that I'm comfortable with. Now I'll just do her arms a little bit. So she seems to have this kind of like peachy color, light peachy, and then like a shadow color over here. I'll start with the shadow color and roughly paint where I think her arm should go. think that's good. Now I'll just make a little line up here. And there we are. Save it. If we come back here, this is Stable Diffusion. It's a pretty simple program. I'm going to use this as my input image, and I need some prompts here. I'm just gonna open up this image so I can look at it while I'm typing out the prompts. You want prompts that that describe this. So the first thing is yellow dress, sleeveless. Female, woman. Bare arms. Maybe fashion, celebrity, designer dress. I don't know. For this, I'm gonna do African. This will avoid any temptation to make she's really pale, so just make sure the skin is dark. Masculine, this avoids guys. So this is a positive prompts, go up here, and negative prompts. The image should not look like. Go down here, basically. Sleeves, tattoo, jewelry. Wooden background. You don't need to go crazy with the negative prompts. Let's do child because she's an adult. We'll do NSFW because we don't want anything inappropriate. And maybe ugly. We don't want anything ugly. It doesn't really matter too much. These are the settings I'm going to be using. 0.3 for the image strength, 40 steps, 10 for the scale, and this resolution matches this image size, 576 by 576. So I'm just going to change this so it outputs to the correct area. These are the models I'm using. This is Dante Realism, and the VAE is the Anything B3 VAE. I'm also using a 3060. If you're curious what settings I'm using beyond like these settings. So at this point, I can start. It's first gonna load the model, and if you use a very big model, it'll take a while. This one was quick. I prune all my models so they're. Oh shit, my bad. I forgot something. Image mask is what I should have had selected. So now when I do it, this little window here is for drawing over the areas that I want to be generated. So I'm just going to draw over all the areas that I previously drew over. And so instead of generating a whole new image, it's just gonna fill in this area essentially. But it still looks at what's there to decide what to fill. You can't just like have a blank space and then fill it. It needs something. That's why I did that very crude. That's why I did this crude drawing to give it some colors to pick up on. And you can see it picked up on those colors and it made it look more realistic. That's basically the goal here. So my job is done. I'm now just letting it generate stuff. And I'll let it go until I see something that I like. It's that simple. It's kind of like RNG. You're just rolling the dice here. Just for fun, I'll show you what this does. So let's go all the way up for the first part. You can see it looks like my input, right? 0.9 means 90% of the data. It's basically gonna look 90% like my input image, which was the crude little drawings here. If you lower it, it means only 20% of this area that I selected will look like it. So when you lower it for things to get wild and different looking, and then you raise it to lock down on stuff that you like. So this looked like shit, so I'm going low. Obviously 0.1 is too low. You give it too much freedom. Like, do you see why you need, there's a balance here between this value. Too low, and you can't even inpaint with it, like nothing matches up. But too high, and everything looks the same. 0.3, I find, is a good middle ground. Things generally match up pretty well. Like that. That looks pretty good. That doesn't quite match up down here, but that's okay. That is a twisted arm. We don't want that. That looks so strange. She shouldn't. I'm gonna go and look at the output from here. It's weird. They all kind of look like her knee. Let's do. Arms, elbow. Let's do that. This area here doesn't seem right in any of these images. It looks more like the back of a knee than it does your elbow. Even this looks kind of weird. I like this. This is okay. So I'm gonna clear image, and then I'm gonna load it. Since this is my new, actually no, that's not the one I want. Descending. I want this one. Yeah. I think that looks good for her arm. This area here, the dress looks kind of bad. So I'll do this, and then I'll do that. See if we can get something better. While I'm here, I guess I can talk about more of these settings. Steps, it's basically how long it's going to take. If you let it go for longer, you get higher quality up to a certain point, and anything beyond that is kind of just like a waste of time. It just takes so long. 40 to 80 is good in my opinion. The sampler is like a way of you can get different images using otherwise the exact same settings if you change the samplers, which is kind of interesting. I'm not sure what it does necessarily. Euler A or Euler A is Euler ancestor. I like this one. It's just like the default, and I like this output. So it's this one, right? Yeah. Oops. Oh, okay, this side's done actually. I'm good with this. So now it's time for the other side. Okay, here we go. So again, start with the background. I'm gonna use a layer here. Actually, for this one, I'm gonna do her arm first before I do the shadow, because the shadow needs to follow her arm. You can't do it in reverse, really. Okay, we're back to one layer. So it looks like her arm kind of goes this. That looks good. We'll just fill this area in over here. I'm just selecting little areas and then roughly painting them in. So looks like shit, right? That's fine. Actually, for this area, there's a bit of a color gradient here, so I'll pick the top color and the bottom color. And now in a new layer, I'm just going to draw here. So you can see I'll just do this. Select, invert, delete. So we got a crisp edge. Now I'm going to do this with the gradient tool and the primary and secondary. Make it so the dark's at the bottom. That looks pretty good. And for this area over here, I'm going to select this, paste, and then flip it. So it kind of covers that area. And then just roughly draw in a line. So there we go. I could also, at this point, just make it a little transparent. Okay, I'm cool with that. Let's call this input 2. So it looks like shit, but if you zoom out, if it kind of looks good, then that's really all. That's the extent of what I'm going for here. So let's load in the new side that we're doing right here. We'll draw the mask real quick. I'm going to work on the outside first. go outside in. It still shows this. This is the last generated image. It'll change once. There we go. Looks kind of shit. All right. So I'm just going to open up the last generated image that I was okay with when I stopped the generation. I'm going to move a little quicker now. Like I'm not going to move everything to the input folder anymore. I'm just going to blaze through it. I'll physically move slow though, so you can still see what I'm doing. So you can see that I'm no longer masking this area. I'm okay with what's over here. That's why I did that first. Now we need our arm to generate something for us. That looks good. Now I think, well, her arm's a little weird here, so let's get that area. And then over here it's kind of weird, and then her elbow looks weird. But like, this is good. That's all good. This shadow maybe could use some work, but I'll do that later. That looks a little too pronounced for her elbow. I like the inner part here though. So I'm gonna take that, use that as our new input, and then oops. And we'll just work on this area now. I don't think you should see that part of her elbow from this angle. Maybe I'm crazy. Whatever. Alright. Wait, was that it? Yeah. Alright. So what I noticed her arm is very pink here, but it kind of disappears. So I'm gonna fix that. Do another layer. Get the color that I want. That's better. This area could be a little darker, a little more pronounced. Okay. Oops. All right, so that's just some basic image editing. Just adding layers of color. Nothing crazy. There we go. All right, new image, new mask. We'll see what this does. I like that for the top part. I'm not picky, really. You can sit here all day generating stuff, but as soon as I see something that I'm kind of okay with, I'll just grab it. All right, so the top part of her arm, I'm good with that. Let's work on this now. That looks pretty good. Kind of weird though, this section here. All right, whatever. I'm good with that. All right, so now we gotta add these to this image. So here's this layer, and then I guess it's this one. Yeah. And then we have this layer. So this is the left side, this is the right side. The way I line up images is this. So this layer has the difference mode, blending mode. So now I can do this, and when it lines up perfectly, I'm using my arrow keys to move it up, right, left, I can do fine adjustments with my arrow keys. When it's lined up, everything looks black except for the areas that were changed. So we can do that. And we'll do this one now. Oops. So just get it roughly where you need it to be, and then arrow keys. Looks good. So here's before, and here's after. Looks pretty good. All things considered, I didn't do anything crazy. I didn't have to look for like images to Photoshop onto this. No, I just let Stable Diffusion provide details for stuff that's already here that I did earlier. Yeah, I think adding this layer would be cool too to see. See how my crude little drawing gets interpreted by Stable Diffusion as, you know, a dress, an arm, a wooden background. It gave me all those details from this crude little image edit that I made. So this is my kind of the kind of editing that I do via Stable Diffusion. I do crude little color edits, and then I let Stable Diffusion basically upscale it and make it look realistic. It's really not difficult. And you can get pretty good results. Just for fun now, I was gonna say I was gonna do her hair now. I'll do her hair. Why not? So let's change our hairstyle next. We can also change your face very easily, but we're not gonna do that. All right, so I'll select a dark area of her hair and then kind of a lighter color. I'll make a new layer, and then let's just okay, that looks pretty good. Let's just this is supposed to be her hair, by the way. Looks good, right? Alright. Now we get a bit of a lighter color. And I'll go over this, just kind of. Cool. I don't know if I should blur it. I'm a big fan of this fragment filter. You can, if you lower the fragments, you can get stuff that's kind of blurry but still pretty sharp. I'm good with that. So let's push it down, save it. This is input 3. At this point, we need to modify our prompt because we're no longer have address really in view. So it's just I'll modify these as well. Sleeves, mess. Okay. Glasses, eye, wear, makeup. Those are good negative ones. Short hair, bald. Those are also pretty good. For the positive prompts, what does she look like? So woman, female, actress, with background, brunette, long hair, straight hair, dark hair. Bangs. Smiling. Looks good. Oops. We'll load it in. All right, so we'll select over everything that I did, and I'll go over the area that I didn't do as well, just so we get a good overlap. All right, I'm good with that. Let's see what it comes up with. Okay, I'm gonna remove straight hair. That seems a little too dominant of a keyword. I could totally replace all her hair with straight hair if I wanted to. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Let's just yeah, let's just replace all of her hair. That's probably the easier thing to do. I wanted to keep some of the original and just like extend it, but this will be a lot faster. I don't know keywords for hair or how to describe hair, so this is the best I can do. Wait, let's make it messy hair, and then I'm gonna make it strong. Let's do that. That doesn't really do anything. We'll just let it go. Get something. Ah! Actually, let's remove bangs. Dacker hair? Okay, we don't need that anymore. Shoulder length hair. Maybe that's better. Okay. It's interesting. It's pretty good. I like that. So now, let's fix the ends. This looks it's kind of wonky. That looks weird, and this area looks weird. And so does this area. I'm gonna raise this just a little bit. Ah, shit. Every now and then it has to reload the model. I don't know why. Like if you stop, I think it's when you stop the generation too quickly, you have to reload the model. It's really annoying if you have a huge model size, but luckily I have a tiny model. You can prune models to make them smaller, by the way, and hmm. All right, I'm good with that. So so we went from this mess to this. Pretty good. I'm just gonna add it to the other layer. some weirdness going on here. Oh well. Looks good. Just for fun, I'll also add in the crappy little MS Paint layer. I gotta do the other arm as well. And then it'll provide a nice little before and after. Or not before and after, but before. This is the true before. This is like the intermediate, and this is the after. So I guess kind of like a time lapse. Want to see that? This arm, I think. Yeah. Something like that. Oh shit. It was cutting off a bit of her hair from the other layer. All right, here we go. So this is the before, the starting image. And these are the rough little image edits that I made. Basically solid colors, and then if you want to get crazy, you can add in shitty little shading or whatever. Just continuing. There's like a line here, so I continue that. Drew a line here, a line down there. Added some little dark splotches over here. And then what Stable Diffusion interprets it as and generates. Really good. Looks great. It's amazing. I guess I can talk now a little bit about. That's it, really. I'm not gonna go over this anymore. I'll just explain a little more about the software I'm using. So Paint.net, I iterated on this earlier, but this is a really old version of it. But I like this version. It's just a simple image editor, but you have some basic functionality in here, like layers and some effects, blending modes as well. It's one step above MS Paint. If you think Photoshop is like absurdly confusing with too much shit, and you use Windows, I'd recommend Paint.net. It's nice. I really like it. And this whole time I've been using Stable Diffusion, but more specifically, I've been using the NMKD Stable Diffusion GUI. This is a guy, NimCrad or something. I don't know, but so all Stable Diffusion GUIs. Stable Diffusion is a command line program. It doesn't have a graphical interface. Like it doesn't have any of this. It's a program you run from the command line using text, basically. And it is a pain in the ass to install. There's no like installer. They make you just like it's so annoying. You have to follow like tech bro annoying YouTubers to figure out how to install this bullshit. Don't recommend Stable Diffusion. Get a GUI for it. I recommend this, obviously, since I'm using it. And if you watch this video, you could probably picked up enough from me using it that you could use it as well now. I mean, it's looks like there's a lot going on here, but this is it. You know, a lot of this stuff you don't even touch. Don't touch this. Don't touch this. I don't even touch this. Don't touch that. I really don't touch this either. This, if I want more quality, I bump it up anywhere from like 40 to 80. Don't touch that. This just determines if you want to generate images or you want to have like an image input to make the image look like your input, if that makes sense. This determines how much your image input looks like something. Concepts, I can't explain to you. I've never used them, but it's like a model. It's like an artistic style that you can load in. It's like a filter that I don't know how to explain it really. I don't use them. I really don't. I just use prompts and image inputs. And your prompts, that's it. That's it to this program. It's honestly it. In here, you can select a model, and you need a VAE for a lot of models. Look for this, anything V3 VAE. You might need to save it as .vae.pt. You might need to do that or not. Yeah, just you can copy all my settings if you want. I guess that's it. I mean, hopefully you're able to learn something from this and make use of it. I really would like other people to use this program, Stable Diffusion. Again, this GUI I recommended for it, but just the technology of Stable Diffusion, it's ridiculous. It's so fun. It's incredible, really. So, all right, I guess that's it. Thanks for watching.